Hi, and welcome to my first quickie reading of my channel. So in the quick readings, what I'm doing is I'm aiming for speed, okay? And usually I have pretty nice thick piles of cards, but on the quick readings, we're going to be using either 2 or 3 cards, in this case 3, and we'll just kind of put a really straightforward question out there, get a straightforward answer, and just not a whole lot of elaboration the way I do in most of my readings. Okay, guys? So this reading is brought to you by a viewer named Leo, the Sunlight Master, who asked, "What is blocking me from finding a real friend?" I think it's a really great question, and it's nice to kind of get away from just the romantic-based questions. I do want to edit it just a little bit because not everybody has blocks in place, and some people need to learn lessons as well, okay? And I suppose that it's like, well, that's kind of the same thing. It's just, for me, there's just a little bit of a nuance there that I would rather say the question as what's preventing me from finding a true friend. All right, so that is today's reading. So let's go ahead and get started. We have cards from your Sacred Wealth Code Oracle cards, the cards of time, which I did do a flip through earlier on my channel of that deck, and we're also using cards from Chakra Insight Oracle. All right. Okay, so pile number 1 is the purple butterfly. Pile number 2 is a green butterfly. Pile number 3 is the pink butterfly. Pile number 4 is the yellow-orange butterfly. Pile number 5 is a blue butterfly. And pile number 6 is the white butterfly. So while you guys are picking your pile, I just want to go ahead and let you guys know anything you need to know about me is in the description, and that will include the timestamps. So for those of you who have not picked your pile, go ahead and pause the video. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get started with pile number 1. All right, I'm really excited about this week's lineup. We are getting a video out to you every single day, and you will get a weekly general reading out in just probably about an hour after this is posted. All right, those of you who picked pile number 1, the purple butterfly. Okay, so it'll work out soon. First off, so you're really close. We have the number 3. That's going to be 3 days or 3 weeks. So that's, I mean, that is really quick. We have presence, okay? So what you can kind of focus on as you're kind of getting ready to meet some new people and find somebody who's just real like-minded and that kind of thing is to just be very, like, in your senses. Okay, because presence isn't just about being aware. It isn't just about, you know, having the attention on the moment, right? But it's also about being in our senses instead of in our heads, right? Which can be very, very difficult for some of us. But it's like being aware of the outside world and taking that in through, you know, paying attention with our ears, with our eyes, you know, and that kind of thing, making sure that we're using our voice and being present in that way, you know, really being observant might be another word. Okay, and the kind of person that you're going to be attracting is going to be the mystic, a very spiritually wealthy type person. Here are some of the traits of this person, and I also want to point out that like attracts like, so this is also advice for you as well. So we've got spiritual, sensitive, unconventional, transcendent, intuitive, introverted, illuminating, artistic, ingenious, intense, imaginative, innovative, revolutionary, rebellious, and mysterious. So that's probably why you've got to, you know, kind of heighten your presence here, you know, especially if you are an introvert yourself, because I do know that like when we meet introverted people, we have to kind of pay a little bit more attention to them because they're not making a big deal about being there, you know. So be aware that you're looking for somebody who is very self-contained, might not speak up real quick. Or if they do speak up, they really, really know their mind really well, you know. And they can go real, real deep on just one topic, for example, and that it looks like what you're going to be looking for. And I think it's really interesting. I just have to point this out that you guys picked the purple butterfly, and you've got this like, you know, this like indigo card and this purple card here. I just think that's kind of interesting. But anyway, yeah, just 3 days to 3 weeks. You know, the more present you are, the earlier that's going to happen, okay? All right, guys. Hi, those of you who picked the green pile. So, what's preventing you from meeting a true friend? We've got Friday, so finalize something and just let go. Okay, so it looks like there might be a little bit of maybe control issues around here. Look for things to do on Fridays, because it looks like that is going to be the time of the week where you're going to be you know, meeting this person. Look for some kind of activity to do. If there's some kind of like girls or guys night out that's been, you know, that comes up on Fridays and you've been kind of like, I don't know if I should do that or not. Maybe that would be a good idea to do. You might want to look for classes or, you know, something in your local library if you have a good local library. Just something around that you can do, and be aware that Fridays are going to be like more fortuitous for you in situation. Okay, one thing is, you know, of course we can't give a whole lot of ourselves to a relationship until we are able to give enough to ourselves. And, you know, that emotional balance here is, you know, really what you've got to work on to prepare yourself to meet, you know, a really, really good friend, somebody who's going to be a really true friend who really respects you and cares about you and all of that. So we're looking at working on your stability, harmonizing inside of yourself, okay? Harmony doesn't necessarily just have to be about getting along with others. You know, reaching for peace and fluidity. Yeah, so this is heart energy. I just want to mention, I think it's interesting how we've got a green butterfly and a green card. You know, that happened with the purple pile as well, so I think that's kind of an interesting trend. This is the kind of person that you're looking for, the collaborator. I co-create to create. So this would be somebody who tries to, I mean, they're probably like some kind of activist type personality, or somebody who's really trying to make a big difference in the world. This person is cooperative, receptive, connective, supportive, curious, empathetic, responsible, insightful, accepting, inclusive, reliable, and co-creative. I mean, they like to work with other people is what I'm saying. All of those key words, remember, like attracts like. So, you know, really, you know, embrace those words in your life as well. I just have to mention, this person might be maybe a foreigner or deals with like foreign relations or something like that, or might be well traveled, or might be from a different, I would say, social group than you. So for example, maybe they have a different religion than you, or maybe they have you know, a different lifestyle than you, and you've never really met somebody that's like that, or maybe they just interact with a lot of different lifestyles, you know, something like that. It's just, I'm looking at this culture, the cultural aspect of this, and the world and everything, and it just feels like, this person's kind of like more than just I mean, this person can really bring new things from multiple cultures to you that can really help enrich you. And I think that is like the really huge gift here. So kind of focus on like, what are areas in your life where you're multicultural? What are areas in your life that you also have, you know, multiple multiple fields of insight around. For example, I might say, okay, well, I'm really good with psychology and sociology and myth and fairy tale, you know, and just kind of, it's all like the humanities, anthropology, that kind of stuff, you know. That might be what I would think of. It's like, okay, I do know a lot about these, like, you know, criminology, for example. Yeah, I know a lot about all of those kinds of things. But I might not be that great at math, you know. So that's kind of the thing that I'm talking about. But yeah, I really feel like Friday is more to do with that's gonna be the best day to meet somebody. Because of just like some kind of organization, something that's going on as a group, you know. So hopefully that gets your question answered. Also keep in mind the number 6, because I think that that's also an important aspect to this question as well. All right, guys. Okay, hi, pile number 3. So the question is, what's preventing me from finding a real friend? Okay, so we have Capricorn. That corresponds to the number 10. Unfortunately, this is like within 10 weeks or 10 months. If you're watching this when this goes up, Capricorn starts on, I believe it's December 21st or December 22nd, depending on the year. You know, so that's not really that far off, but I do, you know, at least, you know, as of the time that we're talking now, okay? But just, you know, it's like, it's perceived success, you know? I really think it's also about just committing yourself to your own success, okay? And I especially think that when I'm looking at this, we've also got the money card here. Finances, power, generosity, and abundance, okay? So, you know, what I'm getting intuitively with this particular card here and how it applies to this question is that it's like sometimes we think that we don't have as much as we do, or we are trying to jump ahead and we're trying to get ahead and save and feel like we can live with financial freedom and that kind of thing. This is kind of about embracing the attitude that you already have that. So that you can kind of prep yourself to, oh, we've got a cat. That was my Persian cat, Marcy. My aunt, Marcia, used to breed cats, and she passed away a while ago, and so I got a Persian cat, and I named her Marcy, so that was her. She just jumped up on the table. I guess she wanted to say hi. Anyway, yeah, go ahead and approach success, right, as if you're already successful, okay? And it might seem a little bit weird, but what you're doing is that you're training your mind to believe in yourself, okay? Because a big part of how people are successful is how much they believe in your own gosh, it just seems like a wrong word to use, but like competency or confidence. It's like the more competent and confident you feel, the more people will feel that from you, and then you'll draw this kind of energy to you. I do want to mention, I don't actually think that this friend is necessarily somebody that's going to show up in business. You know, they might, but I think that it's just more like that's really where you need to be focusing on right now, because it seems like that's the stressor, okay? And then we also have the organizer. So what we're talking about here is we're talking about the kind of person that you are going to be attracting, okay? The kind, like the personality of who would be the, you know, the next really good friend for you, okay? And the quote is, everything has its rightful place. So this is somebody who's very organized, obviously, and somebody who just, you know, has everything just so. It's like they've really got themselves together. And what better person to draw to your life when you're looking to be more successful than somebody who's, you know, seems to have it together, right? So these words that I'm about to read, they describe this person, but remember, like attracts like. So make sure that you're also trying to embrace these characteristics as well, okay? So we've got patient, practical, truthful, committed, steadfast, orderly, reliable, considerate, consistent, disciplined, systematic, instinctual, careful, detailed, discerning, and rational. Okay, so I mean, this person might seem like they're very detached, but this person is somebody you can really rely on. Okay, and it's not that their heart isn't there; it's just that they do. I mean, because I feel that already. I feel like this person has a big heart. It's just the kinds of energy this person is going to be bringing into your life will help you feel more normal is really the best way I can put. And you know, and I use that term because a large part of my life I don't feel normal myself. I mean, this is just my own stuff. And I notice that it's because when compared to the average person my age, I just don't fit what one might expect of somebody who's, you know, 38 and you know, has a couple of kids and, you know, and you know, whatever. I mean, I don't feel like I look or act the way that people expect me to. And so that said, I really appreciate it when I have friends that are like, they really have their life the way that, you know, it's like so systematically planned, you know, and they really have their life together. Like my brother's one of those people. And it's like, they kind of anchor me down because it's like, I can see both the positives and negatives of that lifestyle. And it helps reaffirm that the way that I live my life really is the best way for me. So I just kind of wanted to throw that in because I think it's an important aspect of this particular reading for you guys. All right, guys? Again, you know, Capricorn, you know, we're talking about 10 weeks or 10 months, you know, I really don't think it's going to take that long. I just, intuitively, that feels like, I just want to throw that out of my head when I think it. It feels like it doesn't fit, like it's the wrong puzzle piece. So keep that in mind. Also keep in mind, you know, coming into December, I should have looked at this. Because look at this, it's got the dates on it. That's how intuitive I am, that I don't even see the sensory. I'm so much in my head. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I had early said that maybe it was the 21st or the 22nd. Apparently, it's the 22nd. You know, I still think that it depends on the year, though. But yeah, you know, kind of keep in mind the end of the end of December and the beginning of January. You know, that might be a good time for you as well. It could just be that the person is a Capricorn. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. This looks really positive. It looks like something that would be a very stable thing for you in your life. Okay. All right. Hi, pile number 4. The yellow-orange butterfly. We have the number 10. You will start all over again. We've got 10 days or 10 weeks. Okay, so we're looking at a general time frame. You know, these are general readings too, so I can't get real specific, but this 10 days to 10 weeks, it feels right for you guys. Okay, and you know, and it feels like this is a part of you kind of getting to this point where you really want to get into a new a new mindset when you're thinking about how you want to approach your life. It's like you're kind of turning yourself around a little bit. And it's really interesting because it really goes with what we're coming up with next, which might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but, you know, just stick with me here. We've got sexuality, okay? And we're talking about openness, sharing, beauty, and honor, okay? You know, a lot of people, I'm not saying you guys do it, you know, but I'm just saying that this makes sense to me. A lot of people will get into romantic relationships and they won't think about becoming friends first, because really, especially for those that really want that really passionate kind of connection, it's like, that's friendship, that's boring, you know. I don't want that. But I think that what we're talking about here is that we're not just talking about a true friend, but we're also talking about somebody who can really, really respect you, and maybe even a partner that you know, for those of you who are single, maybe a partner, you know, somebody who you are you know, you're looking at the way that you're building your relationships differently, and you want to start off really focusing on the connection, the friendship first before the, you know, physical connection, you know. There's no wrong way about that, but for those of you who this doesn't apply to, and it's like, what is going on? I don't understand. We're talking about vulnerability, okay? We are not any more vulnerable than when we are completely naked with somebody, especially, you know, for us straight women who, you know, we are typically smaller than our partner, and we are typically can be, you know, we can be completely dominated, you know. And so it's like we have to have a lot of trust. We have to, you know, we are vulnerable when we're in this situation. So, I mean, I do want to say that vulnerability is a big theme here too, okay? And then the kind of person, this is a really interesting one. The kind of person that you're going to be drawing to yourself, and also understand like attracts like. So, when I'm reading these characteristics out, remember to try to embrace those yourselves, okay? This is somebody who is, they're calling it the celebrity. The quote is, "I lead with my light." And their personality traits: charismatic, imaginative, luminous, confident, authentic, inspiring, passionate, magnetic, impactful, public, fashionable, independent, noble, generous, and unique. I also get the sense that this is a extrovert. All right, guys. You know, this has happened at least 2 other times so far, so I'm just going to keep pointing it out. You know, you guys picked the yellow-orange butterfly, and look at these beautiful orange cards that you got. So I do want to acknowledge that, you know, and if you want to look up more about what that color means, look up about, you know, it's your solar plexus chakra is what we're talking about when we're talking about the orange one, okay? But you know, we're talking about that, and we're talking about, oh no, did I say that right? It might be the sacral chakra. You know what? I'm really embarrassed because I actually think that I just got them wrong, like mixed up. Okay, I'm not going to edit this, you know, because I just want to be as honest as possible. I can't believe I'm doing this. I actually want to make sure that I'm telling you right. So I'm getting out the book. I can't believe I've become one of those readers. One of those readers that doesn't know. I feel so embarrassed here. It's the sacral chakra. The third chakra, the one that I was afraid that I was getting it mixed up with, is the solar plexus chakra. Okay. I actually don't remember which one I said the first time, but it's the sacral chakra, okay? It's the second one. So just kind of keep that in mind, and, you know, sorry for my very human moment there, but, you know, I'm keeping it as real as possible. So, you guys, it just looks like you've got to be real vulnerable. That can be very difficult. I understand that. I feel uncomfortable with the idea of being vulnerable. So I feel uncomfortable for you guys. But, you know, it's a big lesson, you know, and I'm thinking in myself, you know, the people that I know that I can be completely vulnerable with, they are the closest people to me. And I would say that that's true of my partner. That's true of my business partner, Shannon. And that is true of my brother. And those 3 people are probably in the top, like, 10 most important people in my life. And that includes, like, my father that's passed away, you know, like, really important people in my life. Okay, guys? So, yeah, that vulnerability is real important, you know, in building that. Absolutely. All right. Hi, pile number 5. Those of you who picked the blue butterfly, what is preventing you from finding a real friend? So first we've got, oh, wow. Okay. So the cards of time, let me kind of show you this. I've been kind of running into some hiccups this whole time I've been doing this. So the cards of time, they give us, you know, days of the week, numbers, you know, that kind of thing. What we have here is it's like for you guys have Alpha and Omega. We're not talking about time frames here, okay? We're looking at specifically the block We're looking specifically at what you need to learn, okay? So as far as a time frame, it's almost like what this says, you're free to choose in the choice of the moment. So it's like you can pick, when are you going to be ready for this, okay? Divine consciousness. I mean, this is some heavy stuff. Divine consciousness, interconnection, expansion, oneness, and light. I can tell why you guys might be wondering when you're going to find a true friend, because this is very difficult to find in other people. I'm just trying to think. Of all the people I know, I think I only know one other person that actually is on this level, and it's really intense when it happens, when you meet somebody who's like that. If you're on that level, and I'm not saying that you're not, I'm just saying, I mean, it's very difficult to maintain that level, okay? I don't. And this person I'm thinking about, they don't either. It's just they have moments. So you're looking at somebody who is very spiritual, somebody who is really going to enrich your spiritual life. If you are a member of a religion, that would be where I would suggest looking. Or maybe, some kind of, maybe there's a culture that's always kind of called to you that in your mind it feels like it's something that is really... I don't know, it's like, I'm just trying to figure out how to say it the best way. Sometimes when I read fairy tales from Ireland, okay, I will get this almost, like this kind of tingling, where I'll feel like the fairy tales, which is a huge part of culture, okay, the fairy tales, the myths, the legends, the lore, when I read them, I feel like there's spiritual truth in there, right? So if I were one of the people that picked this pile, I might think, okay, maybe I should be looking to maybe plan a trip to Ireland where I might be able to meet somebody, or look at, of the authors that I read, which of these authors are really, is somebody that I might want to send an email to or something. I mean, you'd be really surprised with how open authors are to, becoming friends with their readers. But yeah, stuff like that, keep that in mind. We also have, okay, so this is going to be the nature of the kind of friend that you're going to, meet, what they're going to be like. And understand, my cat is talking. I apologize if that's distracting you. She's a chatty cat. So please keep in mind that this type of person, the personality traits, if you embody them, like attracts like. So understand that you can kind of get into their energy already, so that they'll see a kindred spirit with you, okay? This is called the Great Nurturer, and I really love the picture. It's a deer. The quote says, "I give and receive nourishment." And these are the personality traits: motherly, nurturing, devoted, loving, wise, empathetic, compassionate, abundant, generous, receptive, emotional, inclusive, supportive, and stable. This feels like a very, very important friendship. And I mean, I don't really even feel like this is so much as a block, or even something that's been preventing. I almost feel like for those of you who pick this pile, it's like, get ready, because this is about to come. You're attracting this. You're getting to the point where you're attracting a friendship with somebody who really can enrich you, and is really on your level. Because I would imagine that a lot of you guys watching this probably also don't really feel like you meet people on your level very often. And I'm just thinking about, you're free in the choice of the moment. I'm just thinking, it seems like there's some kind of action that needs to happen. Action doesn't mean that you're moving. It could just mean that you've got to increase meditation, if that's what you do. Or increase, being still with yourself. It's just whatever you do that gets you into that divine consciousness, okay? So, keep that in mind. This looks really, really good, though. I mean, I would be very happy for this reading. I know that it didn't really answer the question in a conventional way, but I kind of like the answer anyway. All right, guys? Okay. So, hi, those of you who picked pile number 6, what's preventing me from finding a true friend? Well, first we have Libra. Okay, so Libra is actually almost over as of the posting of this. But Libra is associated with the number 7. Okay, so we're looking at 7 weeks, possibly 7 months as far as the time frame goes. For a very few of you guys, this person is somebody you're going to meet either like today, tomorrow, or the next day. Like by Wednesday, if you're watching this on your Monday, you'll meet this person, okay? And that's for those of you who are watching it the day it goes up, okay? So, yeah, enjoy your time. Okay, this is a little bit different from living in the moment. It's more like, plan to do things, that you need to get done, but also plan to have downtime as well. That's what this has more to do with, okay? So the key words for you in this relationship would be home, shelter, safety, nurturing, and warmth. Okay, so you've got to start working on creating that sense of having a foundation, your roots, okay? It can be very difficult, because I think about it like this, there's my family that I grew up with, my dad and my mom and my brother and sister, and, and what we were like, okay? And then there's my new family, which is me and my partner and our kids, right? And he and I, we're a different family. It's just, that's it, So like my home shifted, okay? And sometimes it still feels like home is my original family, and I think that for those of us who've gotten to the point where we've, left that and we're living on our own maybe, or we've, settled down in a relationship, or, wherever stage of life you're in, we have to keep creating that feeling of security, okay? And some of us didn't get that when we were in our original nuclear family, so that's another, thing that can really be difficult. So understand that what we're talking about is your, like, basic needs, making sure you're getting your basic needs met. And it's weird because, and I understand Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how we've got to get our basic needs met first, but it's almost weird how functional a person can be when they don't even have their basic needs met. Basic needs, we're talking about like sleep, okay? I mean, we're not talking about just, so if you're not getting enough rest, make sure you're getting enough rest, make sure that you feel safe where you are. If you have any kind of anxiety problems or anything like that, really work to get that under control. I understand it's much easier said than done, but there are so many different options for you. Just whatever it is that helps you feel safe, go to that place and really figure out how you can bring more of that to your life and how you can really feel like you have a home wherever you are. Okay, because, and I have got to say that's something that I'm actually kind of been working on a little bit, because I've been doing a lot of dream work, and I've been dreaming a lot of my old family, myself as a child, and it almost feels like when I wake up, like, oh, I want to go back to that, and I can't say that my childhood was necessarily the perfect childhood at all, but it's just, there's this nostalgia kind of associated with it, and you've got to kind of create that nostalgia. Again, there's a book by Milan Kundera called The Unbearable Lightness of Being, and something he says is, and I think it's either nostalgia or happiness, but either way, it's happiness is wanting the same thing to happen over and over and over again, right? Which is kind of like, kind of weird, it's like it's trying to repeat something that we know that we enjoyed, right? That's kind of another aspect to look at here. And and here I said I wasn't going to talk very much in this reading, but I just really feel like this needs some attention here. All right, so the kind of person that you're attracting to yourself, and understand this could be, this is a very feminine word, okay? It can apply to a male as well, okay? We have the queen or the king, Okay? And the quote is, "I am an empowered feminine leader." Okay, so this could be a male that is a big advocate for women, okay, as well. Or it could be, you know, a guy that maybe might differ from what you have come to believe about men. If you believe more in kind of darker masculine energy, you know, I'm trying to find a nice way to put it, because you know, I know that a lot of people, especially women, you know, have had some negative experiences with men, okay? And I think that there's an equal amount of men that have had some negative experiences with women, okay? You know, and I think that even goes beyond the gender gap and all of that kind of stuff. But I do think that the femininity in here, you know, I can't really neutralize it, okay? Because it seems like it's really important that this person really gets the feminine aspect, okay? So these are the personality traits of this person. So remember that when you're attracting somebody to you, like attracts like. So in order to help this along and come along quicker, more quickly, you can try to embrace some of these qualities and personality traits. We've got regal, courageous, prosperous, loyal, powerful, compassionate, intuitive, responsible, administrative, knowledgeable, and trustworthy. Okay? You know, I like to read a lot of historical well, sometimes I like historical fiction. Sometimes I just like historical accounts of things. And I really got into royalty in Wales, in Ireland, England, and right now I'm reading more about France. And I've just noticed that in these stories, the women play so much more of a role than maybe what we've been taught. You know, at least in my experience growing up and learning history as an American, I wasn't taught so much about the wives or the princesses or the, you know, the women that were involved in this. So I think that it's a really interesting thing. You know, for it seems like every really good king had a really positive wife. You know, it seems like when there wasn't that good balance, and that's when things kind of went crazy. So, okay, you know, keep that in mind. You know, let's go ahead and, like, you know, go over this again, since I did kind of ramble here. We've got 7 weeks to 7 months, okay? That, I mean, it is kind of far off, but, you know, just remember the number is 7, okay? Recreate that feeling of security. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, getting enough nutrition. Make sure you're taking care of yourself, okay? We forget to do that. You know, I do, at least. You know, some of you guys might be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't do that, but I do need to kind of feel like I'm, you know, stable in a home. I've got my roots down, so that applies. But yeah, for those of you who aren't, you know, literally taking care of your basic needs, you know, kind of roll back and kind of, you know, think about that. For those of you who just need to feel like you're really rooted in place somewhere, you know, think about how to build that. And because once you're feeling secure, this person will recognize you, like, almost immediately and want to come into your life, you know. So there you have it. All right, guys. Alright, so thank you so much for watching to the end of my video. I really appreciate it. I am so glad to say that we are going to have regular videos, okay? I am going to focus on doing less love readings, at least this week, okay? That doesn't mean that I won't include one, I will. But I just want to make sure that I am approaching my whole audience, and I've been getting a lot of feedback saying that you know, more general readings that aren't just love-based would be appreciated. So I am listening to you guys, and I will do it. That said, again, if you guys didn't hear it at the very beginning, in about an hour, you'll get the weekly general reading, okay? So it is coming, and I will also see you tomorrow for the next pick a card reading.